Well, everybody, we did it. We begged, we pleaded, we built wool effigies of Mario on the cross and burnt them, because only from fire can the ashes of our future be born. And now that I think about it, that last one was definitely just me. Actually, now that I think about it, that's really dark. Why did I do that? You shouldn't do that. Regardless, they're here. Steve, Alex, Zombie, Enderman, these are the fruits of our gamer labor. And despite the polarizing responses the community has shared in response to Steve's announcement, one thing can be said for sure. On that fateful day, Sakurai looked in the faces of all who doubted his power, hawked the fattest block-shaped loogie imaginable, and proudly proclaimed, "You plebeians are the monsters. Nintendo, we are the knight. Without us, you are nothing." And proved that when it comes to Smash Bros, Sakurai does not give a flying fuck. So to all the naysayers, the non-believers, the haters, and the heathens, know one thing. Tonight, we're digging Minecraft style, bitch. After watching the Steve reveal trailer, it became abundantly clear to me that when asked what he wanted to include from Minecraft in Smash Bros, Sakurai simply responded with yes. For those of you who have played Minecraft, you'll know that on a scale of 1 to a lot, this game has like full inventory 64 stacks of a fuck ton of stuff in it, and only continues to add more and expand at a rate that can only be rivaled by the universe itself. In other words, this character, even for Smash Bros standards, is really complicated. So for those of you who are new to the game and don't understand the mechanics, you know, there's this really cool character called Mario. For those of you who are familiar with the game, however, grab your handy-dandy notebook and get ready to break your goddamn hand writing notes, because I'm going to try to get through probably the most complicated aspect of this character, the mining and crafting mechanic, in one go. Okay, here we go. Steve Neutral Special has 3 uses. Firstly, it allows you to mine whatever surface you're standing on or next to. Doing this will give you materials which differ in frequency based on the surface you're standing on, except on Omega and Battlefield stages where the rate of mats, that's Minecraft slang for materials, are fixed for lower RNG. There's 7 important materials you can mine: dirt, wood, stone, iron, gold, diamond, and redstone. There are other materials as well, like sand that replaces grass and sandier maps, but even Sakurai called them miscellaneous, so it seems kind of useless to elaborate on it. All of these materials can be seen on this gauge right here except for redstone. We'll talk about redstone later. These materials are also listed in order of rarity, and you have a carrying limit on how many mats you can hold. You'll know you've hit that limit when the items start disappearing as you mine them. These materials also allow you to build different things, and I'll go over those as I go along, but primarily you'll need them for 2 functions. The first is crafting tools, of which there are 4: pickaxe, sword, shovel, and axe. In order to craft, you need to use the second function of the Neutral Special by pressing the B button next to a crafting table, but you can spawn next to you by holding shield and pressing B. Unless somebody breaks it, then you have a short cooldown before you can use it again. Anyway, the shovel is used pretty much exclusively for mining, while the sword is entirely combat focused, and the axe and pickaxe are variably used for both diggy holing and taking back the night. By the way, fun fact time, hey, Captain Sparkles has made like 14 different Minecraft parodies and original songs. Did you know that? Because I didn't. Anyway, all of your tools have 5 levels of effectiveness and durability. When crafting a weapon, you'll automatically craft the best tools you can based on the materials you have, and once you craft one tool, this level of materials is also applied to every other tool, which is not how it works in the game, but God, I wish it was. The order from lowest to highest level tools is wood to stone to iron to gold to diamond, with the exception being gold, which is the most fragile type, but also lets you swing faster than the other tools. Otherwise, the higher the weapon grade, the longer it'll last, the harder it'll hit. If your weapon breaks and you have no tools, you'll have to use your hand until you manage to find the pieces you need to make new tools. The other reason mining is important is thanks to the third and final application of the Neutral Special, mining. If you jump and press the B button, you'll place a block below you. And if you hold the B button, you can continue to place blocks around you and build structures based on the materials you have. These materials are expended from lowest to highest quality, aka from left to right on that handy dandy gauge. This is also why gold and diamond aren't on there, by the way, because you can't build blocks with them. These blocks, after being placed, will break within a few seconds. The blocks last longer based on which block you're placing, however, and you can break these blocks by attacking them or jumping into them. You can also place these blocks in the air, and as you can imagine, this can lead to some absolutely ridiculous recovering and edge guarding tactics, which is why they have a limited vertical and horizontal range on the map in which they can be placed, represented by this pink glowing area right here. Any attempt past that zone and you won't be able to place the blocks, so be careful when you're outside of that range because it's a lot easier to get gimped out there, which by the way is not a sexual thing, just a very unfortunate name given for a mechanic where you disallow somebody from recovering back onto the stage. Just wanted to clarify that before things got weird. Holy shit. I think I just took several years off of my life doing that. So yeah, that's one move. They reduced the entire fundamental principles of Minecraft into the single press of a button. Let that soak in for a second. Okay, not too long though, back to the tutorial. So now that you know what Mr. Minecraft Let's Modify 80 plus stages so the walking cardboard box can play with dirt Steve is capable of, let's talk about how to use these tools to do some damage. Starting off simple, you have neutral attack, forward tilt, and neutral aerial, which all showcase Steve swinging his sword with what seems to be the competency and form of a man who has never once taken a sword fighting class in his life, and do pretty minimal damage and knockback, but can be repeated by holding down the attack button. You can also move back and forth on the ground while holding the move, allowing it to follow up into itself pretty consistently. As for combos and air game, despite a relatively short attack range and an abysmal grounded jump, Steve's got quite a few tricks up his unsettlingly cubic sleeve. For instance, you have down throw. It uses some iron to bounce your opponent off the ground with an anvil, or if you have no iron, it forces Steve to bash their skull off the curb with his own 2 hands, and it sets you up pretty perfectly to start swinging with some of those aerials. aerials, like forward or back aerial, which place your pickaxe in the attack position to go straight for the jugular, with back aerial possessing some solid knockback, and forward aerial allowing you to cave in your opponent's head as well as their spirit with a soul-crushing spike. For those of you who prefer to take to the skies to teach those non-blockular jabronis who just won't let go of their stocks a lesson though, you have a few options, such as up tilt and up aerial, where Steve waves his axe around like the love child of Jack Nicholson in Roblox, using these moves low knockback to juggle your opponents. The moves operate similarly to forward tilt and neutral aerial in that both moves are basically functionally the same, can be held in order to use them repeatedly, and the grounded attack can be used while moving back and forth. You also have a solid juggling setup in up throw, which launches the opposition into the skies with a piston. And while these are all fantastic options for taking revenge on those who have wronged you by challenging your superiority as the alpha gamer, honestly, where Steve really shines is his edge guarding. So let's just dive head first into that hellscape of attacks, starting with forward and back throw, which can help to get things started by utilizing pistons and fishing rods respectively to toss your adversary off the edge. Once there, on top of your aforementioned aerials, you'll have a full arsenal of torture devices at your expense, ranging from outstandingly aggravating to cruel and unusual. So how about I just quickly list these off here in order from least to most emotionally destructive, and you decide for yourself what level of psychopath you fall at. So first off, Steve's down aerial. The move drops an anvil on your opponent like a goddamn Hanna-Barbera cartoon, which certainly takes one bold, dragon-hearted son of a bitch to pull off. You can also jump off of the move before it fully falls to avoid dropping off the edge at terminal velocity, which is a good mix-up, but all things considered, it requires iron to use the move, and if they're able to dodge it, then chances are you're not gonna have enough time to get another one off. It does look absolutely hilarious though, so points for that. Alright, next up, let's talk about gimping with blocks. While it's certainly absolutely infuriating to get hard blocked from recovering by the guy who's partying on your premature grave like Genghis fucking Khan, and while this move does allow you to get kills at literally any percent so long as you can nail the timing, it's also, all things considered, a fairly quick and painless process after the initial shock. Shake hands and move on to the next stock type deal. Moving to the absolute opposite end of that spectrum though, we have down tilt, which uses a flint and steel to create a little baby PK fire. When dangled over the ledge, this move will slowly descend, igniting anybody who comes into contact with it in a process that is, when repeated, simply put, villainy incarnate. Moving on to our next attack, you may want to hold on to your communist manifestos for this one, because if you thought shit was crazy up to this point, we're just gonna turn it up about 5,000 notches and talk about how Minecraft Steve, for some ungodly reason, knows how to make a fucking bomb. More specifically, TNT. This is Steve's down special, and the premise is pretty simple. Expend lesser resources like dirt or stone to place a TNT block. The TNT will then ignite after taking sufficient damage, after a certain amount of time has passed, or after being triggered by a pressure plate. As for the pressure plates, these bad boys can be set down directly next to the TNT if you're feeling ballsy. However, if you want to extend the fuse a bit, you can use up some redstone to activate the move remotely. And what makes this move so evil comes from a mixture of both the effort required to set up this move, and the fact that you must first allow your victim to reach solid ground before they can be ruthlessly blasted back into the void by your silly-looking death toy. And speaking of silly-looking death toys, coming in at the top of our list is Steve's side special, where Steve hitches a ride on his handy-dandy minecart to recover back onto the stage or charge into opponents. The only drawback is that this move costs a lot of resources. Once you get past this, however, you'll find that if you jump out of the cart just before it hits an enemy, something utterly incredible will happen. Now naturally, when staring down the barrel of a fast-approaching rogue minecart, I would tend to think that that metal death trap would just rush over me and flatten me like a pancake. But no, that thing opts instead to bring you along for a little ride to fuck you city straight off the ledge. And of course this can be mashed out of, but I can think of no harsher disrespect than directly delivering a foe to the fallen kingdom of the dead in your very own discarded whip. And while we're on the topic of edge guarding, I certainly can't forget that if you're jumping off the ledge, you need to be able to recover. And while the minecart certainly does a good job of this, it also uses a lot of resources. One move that does not use a lot of resources, however, is Steve's up special, Elekid, which launches him out with the power of a glider to get him back to the ledge. However, if you're facing the wrong way, you'll need to turn around or you are going to absolutely dick yourself out of a stock way too early. But if you keep that in mind and practice the move, you'll be fine. And now, to wrap things up, let's discuss Steve's smash attack, shall we? Forward smash is just a standard sword swing, does good damage and knockback, pretty cut and dry. Honestly, probably the most straightforward attack in his entire moveset. Up smash, on the other hand, places a magma cube directly above Steve and immediately breaks it. The attack has no side hitboxes and is pretty slow, but hits multiple times, has a flame effect, and also has great vertical attack range, making it a really good anti-air, juggling, and even combo tool. And finally, Steve's down smash unleashes the power of every Minecraft player's worst nightmare to melt your opponent's stocks like butter. It hits on either end of him, has a lingering hitbox, and has pretty effective horizontal knockback on it. So there you have it. As one of the most complicated characters this game will probably ever see, it may be a daunting task to learn his mechanics, but if you can get the hang of them, the reward can be absolutely worth it. Also, complete left field side note, throughout the course of this video, I managed to slip every single Captain Sparkles song title in there somewhere, except his Old Town Road cover, which is just called Old Town Road Minecraft version. because how in the hell am I supposed to fit Old Town Road Minecraft version into a conversation fluidly? So anyway, for those of you who want to go back and find all the titles, there's your freebie. Here are all the song titles. Get to work, gremlins. For those like myself who are far too lazy to do that, all I can say now is go out there, train hard, troll harder, and remember that after all of this, if you still can't score a win on your opponent, just challenge them to a double or nothing Minecraft survival game, put yourself in creative mode, and kick their teeth in. Until next time. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. At the time of recording this, it's about 2.5 hours since Minecraft Steve has released, and I pretty much have not started on the video, so this is gonna be a long night, so I'm gonna keep this short. Subscribe if you want to see more. I make new videos every Monday. Thank you to my patrons who are on the screen right now, and I really appreciate you guys' support. All my social medias are down at the bottom of the screen in the description, and my Patreon and Discord are linked in the comments. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!